cleansing. Secretary of State John Kerry back on the Hill today, pitching the Iran nuclear deal to the House of Foreign Affairs Committee. As Secretary Kerry defends the deal, presidential candidate Mike Huckabee told Maria Bartiromo this morning on Fox Business exactly why he thinks the deal is bad and dangerous.
This is a dangerous deal. I read the whole thing, and the more I read, I thought, I'm surely going to get to the good parts, the parts that give me some comfort. It only got worse. We basically have just turned a $120 billion checkbook over to a bunch of terrorists, and I don't know why in the world the president would be so proud to put his name on this deal.
Is it really dangerous, or is it a way forward with a dangerous country? And how much confidence should the American public have with the administration, especially after learning that Iran made two side deals with the International Atomic Energy Agency? And by the way, this was aside from the administration, so even the administration didn't know about these deals. We bring in our expert panel, D.C. International Advisory CEO Stephen Yates and Fox News Middle East and terrorism expert Walid Phares. Walid, where do you stand on this Iran nuclear deal?
Well, there's a lot of discussion, including today in Congress, about will we be able to monitor? Will the Iranians change their attitude once we start to send them the money? I think the priorities, the strategic priority should be, what would the Iranian regime do with the money we are sending, with 130 or 120, whatever that money is? First of all, they're going to buy weapons. They're going to buy all the deterrence they would need. So by the day we decide, oops, they're not doing well, they would say it's going to cost you much more now if you want to put those sanctions.
Stephen, you served as Deputy Assistant to the Vice President for National Security. There have been deals along the way over the years with many different presidents that Americans hated, that Congress hated. I mean, I can remember when Ronald Reagan wanted to sell AWACS and wanted to sell planes to the Saudis, and people were saying, wait, the Saudis bitterly hate Israel. He was successful in doing that. Turned out okay. Is it possible that these types of deals can eventually work in at least the nation's or the world's favor?
Well, it's possible, but really only in the proper context. One of the biggest problems with this deal, among the many, many holes in verification, is the sequence the administration has followed. They go and they get a multilateral deal, and the first thing they do is go to the United Nations and eliminate the primary leverage we have in the process. Then come back to the Congress, ask for its approval before these IAEA verification agreements can be completed. I mean, even as part of the deal, those aren't going to be finished until the end of this year. And so I think the sequence has been completely botched by the administration if they're going to do it right. And of course, Reagan was typically dealing from a position of strength. And so he had the confidence of allies along the way. Very different in this one.
Although in 1985, you had President Reagan's National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane doing an arms for hostages trade deal with Iran, Walid. Again, I keep bringing these things up. They're a little messy, certainly, but in this case, you have many other nations, whether it's France or Germany, the P5+1, saying, well, let's do this.
Well, first of all, these allies, the Europeans or other NATO allies and partners, wouldn't have done so had they not been told by the Obama administration that we're going to do so. They would always follow the lead. So when we were tough with them, with the Iranian regime, that is, they were also tough. When we started to change, they followed. They cannot oppose us at this point in time. But more importantly, the context, as you just said, is important. I mean, a deal over the AWACS to the Saudis, even a deal with the Iranian regime over hostages is one thing, and a deal with the regime sending them what would equip them and render them much more dangerous. We are creating a different Iran with those $130 billion at a time where Iran, unlike the Soviet Union, is engaged in active wars in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon to a certain point, and in Yemen as well.
Well, this discussion continues because it's not over yet, certainly in front of Congress. Thank you both so much, Walid Phares and Stephen Yates. We appreciate it.
Thank you.